The Defy Extreme Diver is a watch that I've wanted to get on this channel for a very long time. I know it's an expensive, big diver, but I think it's so good looking. The one that I have to show you today is a collaboration with Toppers. This one gets a really cool blue dial, but overall, I think this is a fantastic watch. And this is a limited edition. This one comes with a special package, a couple of more straps, but overall I think this is a really good looking, somewhat underrated dive watch. So let's flip the camera and take a look at the Zenith Defy Extreme Dive Watch. So this is a Topper limited edition. I've never featured a watch that has been done in collaboration with Topper. I know that they have done a number of different collaborations with a number of different brands, but this is a collaboration that they have done with Zenith, and they have put a pretty special wave dial on here. It's inspired by bioluminescence. There's a special plankton or algae in water that when you move the water, you agitate the water, it actually will glow, and that's kind of what this is, or definitely what this is inspired by. So this is a wave dial, but there's these little areas that are lighter than others, and I'm not sure if this actually will glow in the dark. The dial itself, I'm not sure if this is a fully lume dial. I will find out when you guys find out during the lume shot towards the end of this video, but this is a diver from Zenith. This is the Defy Extreme Diver. This is exactly the same watch, except it's a limited edition, I think of only 50 pieces, and it gets this special dial. So this is a blue dial with a blue bezel. It comes on a white strap or a gray pass-through strap, and I believe it also comes with a bracelet. So you get all three. It's a package that you get with this watch. If you love the watches that I talk about here on my channel, you're really going to love the website that I'm about to tell you about. It's called Wristrebels. Wristrebels is a website that has all of those small micro brands and independent brands that are really hard to find, all in one place. Brands like Formex, Awake, Martin Designs, and Squale, and many other brands you won't find anywhere else. Definitely check out Wristrebels at wristrebels.com. Also check out their Instagram at Wristrebels, and if you end up buying something, tell them that Watch Chris sent you. It's powered by an El Primero movement, so their dive watches are also powered by an El Primero movement. That is the 3620. This is the no date version because you do not get a date on this watch. This gets an integrated bracelet look because this is an integrated bracelet watch. It's actually really easy to switch from the bracelet to the straps, and there is a tab on the back of the case. It works really well. You get these large crown protectors that are screwed in, as you can see here. Those are not pushers. It almost looks like pushers. They are not. And you can see the screws right there. You get a very large screwed in crown. And of course you have a deployant buckle, sapphire crystal on the front and back, screwed in case back, and a screwed in crown because this does get 600 meters of water resistance because this is a true dive watch. And then you also have a helium escape valve right here because technically this is a saturation diver. The dial looks like a wave dial, but there's no texture to it. It almost looks like a stone dial is how I would describe it. And there's just a little bit of a, I don't know what it is on top of the dial, and I'll do plenty of close-ups to try and show what I'm talking about. It almost looks like water is on the dial a little bit. It's a glossy dial, and you have applied indices on the dial. Those are filled with lumen. You have these very large hands, and they're basically the same hands that you get from the Defy Diver. It's very large, they're skeletonized, and those are filled with lume. The second hand has a large pip. It's a rectangular pip, and that is filled with lume. There's a counterbalance that is the star for the Zenith Star, and of course you have the Zenith Star right below the 12 o'clock index. That is applied. Right below that it says Zenith, and it gives you the depth rating right above the 6 o'clock position. You have a 120 click bezel. Let's listen to that. Very grippy. Really nice sounding bezel. And of course, everything lines up. This is on the larger side. So if you don't like a large watch, this is going to wear larger because This is an integrated bracelet dive watch, and usually they wear larger, but this is also a large watch to begin with. So the dimensions here aren't for someone with a very small wrist. You have to have somewhat of a sizable wrist, even though they give you very nicely tapering bracelets. The only thing that doesn't taper is the pass-through strap. So I think it's a single pass-through. That doesn't taper, but this white rubber strap does. It has a really nice texture to it. And this does taper really well. So does the bracelet. The bracelet basically tapers exactly the same. This measures in at around 43 millimeters, so 43.2 millimeters, but because of that crown and those crown guards, it definitely wears a little bit larger than that. It looks a little bit larger than that as well. So I would say this wears and looks like a 44 millimeter dive watch. And then the lug to lug is around 47 millimeters, but it's much larger than that. If you have it on the strap and on the bracelet, it comes in at around 50 millimeters, maybe a little bit larger than that. So like I said, this is something that if you have a very small wrist, it will be hard to pull off. 15.5 millimeters thick. With all that being said, I love this watch, and I've always loved the Defy Diver. I think it's a really good looking watch, and I love the idea of an integrated bracelet watch, a luxury integrated bracelet watch that's a diver. There aren't very many out there. In fact, it doesn't really matter if it's a luxury watch or not. There aren't a lot of integrated bracelet dive watches, and I think that's because they do wear large, and maybe brands are a little bit scared of doing that. The movement looks great on this watch. It's finished really nicely, of course, because it is a El Primero movement. You have their star rotor on here. This one, I believe, is in a dark blue, almost a black. It depends on the lighting when you're looking at it. It looks like black, but it's basically a dark blue. And then the movement itself is somewhat skeletonized. So you have some skeletonized bridges, but the rotor, which is very large, you can't see a lot of the movement. You have tabs right in the back of the case, and they're very easy to use. It's really not a tab. It's actually just a button. You press the button, and it's very easy to remove the strap and put on the bracelet. And then I believe you get end links that you have to attach for the pass-through strap. So that system is a little bit different. And again, it will wear larger and thicker on that pass-through strap because that's how they wear. I really love the clasps that come with these watches, specifically the Defy, because it's really chunky. I love these push buttons. It's very easy to use. And it just sort of matches the watch. It's really nicely engineered. The case is really nicely engineered. It's beautifully finished. You have these really nice lines of polish. You have brushing on the sides. It's a chunky, very substantial watch in hand. And that's because it is a very substantial watch. The Defy in general, the Extreme, it just feels like a very substantial watch in hand. And I think that's a good thing. A lot of people may not like that. I think it looks and feels really great. On my wrist today, I have a much smaller and basically a completely different watch from the watch that we're looking at today. This is an Oris. This is their Big Crown pointer date with their in-house 5-day movement. And it's just a really nicely sized watch, I think, for every day. And I just think it's a great color as well. It's like an aqua blue dial. Their hand-wound movement looks great. You get a power reserve on here. It's on the back of the watch, which I really like as well, kind of keeping the symmetry on the front of the dial here. And of course, you have a small seconds. And there is the Defy Extreme Diver Topper Edition on my 7.5 inch wrist. And you can see, I mean, on my 7.5 inch wrist, it does look large because this is a large watch. It wears like a 44 millimeter watch, in my opinion. You have a 15 millimeter thickness, and it's around 43 millimeters if you measure it at the bezel. At the case itself with these big crown guards, it's around 45 almost, just under 44, somewhere in that range. And then you have a lug to lug of, let's call it like 51 or 52 millimeters with the strap. But at the case itself, it really measures in at around 47 and change. But like I said, it wears larger than that. It looks larger than that. This is a 600 meter dive watch, so you are getting a lot of capability here, and a beautiful dial. The dial is really beautiful. Like I said, I'll do plenty of close-ups so you could see the dial on here. It is gorgeous. This is a limited edition of 50. I believe it is only available at Topper, so I will put a link to their website down in the description below, but I will also put a link to the Zenith website where this is not for sale, but they sell the yellow version of this. It's yellow and black. That is my favorite version of it, and I'll put a link to that one, and I'll throw up a picture of it as well. I absolutely love that watch. Well, there you go. It is very nicely lumed. So you have a lot of lume on the dial. All of the indices and hands are lumed, and they are very liberally applied with lume, so very, very bright. And then you have orange lume, so two different colors lume, on the bezel. So there's orange lume for all of the indices except for the pip at the 12 o'clock. That is the same color as the dial, like a minty green. Superluminova. Looks really good. There is a little bit of a nitpick that I have here. This is a bioluminescent inspired watch. They probably should have lumed the dial a little bit. I wish that they put a little bit of lume, maybe that what looks like water, like the foam on water, or maybe that's the plankton or the algae that glows. I'm not sure what they were trying to go for, but they should have made that in lume. I think that would have looked really cool. But there you go. I mean, you could see it during the day, and I think it's kind of the reason why they did it this way. And it kind of looks like a stone dial. Overall, I think it's a really good looking watch, very functional. I really like the dial as it is. A little bit of lume on that dial would have been something very, very different. But here you go. I think it's a great looking watch, and the price on this is $12,300, I want to say. It's no more expensive than a regular Defy Extreme diver. So you're getting a really special dial on this rather than a black dial or an orange dial or a yellow dial or something like that. You're getting a really special dial on here, and it doesn't cost any more. And you get 2 straps and a bracelet with it. So pretty cool. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. I really like this watch. I think this is a lot cooler than your run-of-the-mill Sub or Omega or something like that. And, you know, these are basically in the same price range. If you were in the market for maybe a Planet Ocean, the new Planet Ocean, I think this is cooler. And the Planet Ocean obviously is trying to move towards a integrated bracelet look. And this is something that was meant to be an integrated bracelet look. I kind of like this. I think it looks awesome. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. Please also don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. Anyway, guys, thank you for logging on. Thank you for watching this video. I will catch you guys in the next video.